Welcome back to another installment of Replay or Reject PlayStation Classic Edition. Just a quick recap, I'm giving each game on the PlayStation Classic 1 hour to win me over. After that hour, I'll make my determination on whether the game would be worth replaying in the future, or if it will get added to my ever-growing list of reject games that I never want to play again. There's only one game on this list that I've actually beaten before. The rest of them either I have barely played, never played, or never even heard of. Well, that's enough preamble, so let's get to it. So next up we have Destruction Derby. This is one of the ones that I'd never heard of before, but I was able to kind of guess by the title it would have something to do with demolition derbies. So it's weird, it starts off by asking me if I want to use one console or two, which I thought was odd. I didn't even know that was a thing. I remember handhelds having link cables for multiplayer, but I'd never seen this on a console before. And maybe that's just because I had Nintendo 64 at the time, which already had 4 controller ports, so they really didn't need to expand it any further. But yeah, so I checked it out on Wikipedia and there was a link cable, and there was actually a fair amount of games that used it. Seems like it was mostly for racing games, but there were some other games as well. Hey, I learned something new today. So after that, it takes me to another lackluster menu. We have a difficulty setting, a track select, and a game mode select. Selecting the car, it seems that we only have 3 options, and they're all linked to the difficulty setting. Can't say I've ever seen that before, and that's kind of dumb. If I'm playing a racing game, I want to see a good selection of cars. Also not sure how I feel about them all being tied to the difficulty setting. I'm not great at driving games, so I'm just going to be stuck to the one car apparently for easy mode. Lame, especially because the Grim Reaper is objectively the coolest sounding and looking of the 3. Also, because they decided to show them in the little arena instead of just a menu, that adds extra loading screens. Loading screens. In the main menu. 10,000 points from Gryffindor. So I started off with race practice, and my god, these controls are ass. If I hit one wall, I then end up hitting a dozen more just trying to compensate. It doesn't take long on this short track to start lapping people, but with how cramped the courses are, that makes it ridiculously hard not to run into other cars. Which would be cool, but down in the right hand corner we have this picture of a car showing the amount of damage each part is taking. It seems like as your car takes damage, it affects the way it handles, which is sort of realistic and a kind of cool idea, but for me it just means that as my car gets more messed up, I'm just bouncing around even more. And then after 10 laps on this practice mode, the race just ends because I guess my car took too much damage. That ended up being a common theme for me as I was playing. I couldn't finish a single race because my car just gets totaled and I lose. So after failing practice mode, I jumped straight into championship mode because why not? Gotta set my name here, so let's go with ass. Buckle up, buckaroos! And then the same thing happened in championship mode. I would be doing okay-ish, and then I would just get bounced around too much and my car would die and I would lose the race. Maybe with more practice I'd get better at avoiding the other cars, but I don't know. The tracks are designed in a way that encourages crashes, but then if you crash too much, you lose. They're really cramped, and a lot of them purposely have cross-traffic sections where you're bound to either hit somebody or get hit by somebody. And then after you lose, you gotta just sit there while the CPU finishes off the race in the background so that the other cars can get their ranks. After losing my way through all the races, I finally end up at The Bowl, which is a legit demolition derby. Of course, my car was one of the first that got destroyed, but at least it makes sense in this context. Then I figured I'd try out the other modes. It looked like there was more to do than there actually is. So out of the main modes, there's Stock Car mode, which is just the 5 races. Then Destruction Derby mode, which is just the Demolition Derby arena over and over and over again. And then Wreckin Racing, which I did first, and it's just a combo of both. We also have Total Destruction mode, which looks like the regular Demolition Derby with a timer, so I guess it's just to see how long you can survive. Spoiler alert, I didn't last very long. And then there's Duel mode, which is the Demolition Derby arena again, and it's just a one-on-one fight. At least in the regular Derby mode, you can win or lose quick because there's 20 of you or so. But since this mode only has 2 cars, this is just going to take way longer. This game had an okay concept, and damageable cars in this gaming era was probably more impressive than I realized. But the overall lack of stuff to do makes this something that would have barely warranted a weekend rental, even in the 90s. This game also gave me my first software crash so far, around the 30-minute mark, and I should have just taken that as a sign to quit while I was ahead. Maybe there's unlockables or something if you can actually win some races, but as far as I can see, there's 3 cars, 5 racetracks, and a Demolition Derby arena with a couple variations on how you can play it. So Destruction Derby, just like the cars I was playing as, gets sent straight to the scrap pile.